When Harrison Whitmore laughed at Michael Jordan at his fancy party and said, "What does a basketball player know about real business?" he never imagined that Michael would buy his entire company just minutes later. But the most shocking part wasn't the purchase, it was why Michael did it. This wasn't about revenge at all. Michael bought the company to save the life of an 8-year-old girl who was dying because Harrison had made one terrible decision. What did Harrison do that put this innocent child's life in danger? And what was the heartbreaking truth Michael revealed at the end that made everyone realize this story was never about business at all? Before moving forward, make sure to like this video and comment where you're watching from. Let's go back to that summer morning in Chicago, where the Whitmore family was getting ready for what they thought would be just another perfect party. The summer sun shone bright over the Whitmore estate in Chicago. Big white pillars held up the front of the huge house. Green grass stretched far in every direction. A long driveway curved toward the mansion like a golden ribbon. Inside the house, Harrison Whitmore III walked through his living room with a big smile. He wore an expensive suit and shiny black shoes. Everything in his house cost more money than most people made in a year. "Victoria," he called to his wife. "Are you ready for tonight?" Victoria Whitmore came down the wide stairs. Her dress sparkled with tiny diamonds. Her hair was perfect, and her jewelry caught the light from the big chandelier above. "I've been ready for hours, dear," she said. "Tonight will be our best party yet. Everyone who matters in Chicago will be here." Their teenage daughter Sophia ran into the room. She held her phone in one hand and car keys in the other. "Dad, can I borrow the red car tonight?" she asked. "I want my friends to see me drive up in style." Harrison laughed. "Of course, sweetheart. We Whitmores always travel in style." The family stood together in their fancy living room. Paintings worth thousands of dollars hung on the walls. A piano that no one played sat in the corner. Everything looked perfect, but it also looked cold. Harrison owned a company called Blue Tech Industries. His father had started it as a small business that made computer parts. Harrison had grown it bigger over the years. Now it made millions of dollars, or so everyone thought. "Tell me again why we're having this party," Sophia said, checking her makeup in a gold mirror. "Because successful people need to show their success," Victoria answered. "When you have money and power, you must let others see it. That's how the world works." Harrison nodded. "Your mother is right. Tonight, all the important people in Chicago will see what the Whitmore family has built. They'll remember that we're not like everyone else." Outside, workers set up white tents on the back lawn. They carried fancy tables and chairs. A man in a chef's hat directed other workers who carried silver trays and crystal glasses. "How much is this party costing us?" Sophia asked. "Money isn't important when you have as much as we do," Harrison said. "This party will show everyone that Blue Tech Industries is the most successful company in Chicago." The truth was different from what Harrison told his family. Blue Tech Industries had big problems. The company owed money to banks and suppliers, sales were down, and bigger companies were taking their customers. But Harrison kept spending money like everything was fine. As the afternoon passed, expensive cars began arriving. Men in perfect suits and women in beautiful dresses walked up to the front door. Everyone carried themselves like they owned the world. "Look at them all," Victoria whispered to Harrison. "Every person here has money and power. We belong with people like this." The guests filled the house and backyard. They drank expensive wine and ate food made by the best chefs in the city. Everyone talked about their businesses, their vacations, and their expensive things. Harrison felt proud as he watched his party. He believed he was the most important person there. People shook his hand and told him how wonderful his house was. This was exactly what he wanted. Then something unexpected happened. A black car pulled up the long driveway. It wasn't the fanciest car at the party, but everyone turned to look. Two men got out. One was tall and athletic. The other was shorter and wore glasses. "Who is that?" Victoria asked, squinting to see better. Harrison watched as the tall man walked toward the house. Something about him looked familiar, but Harrison couldn't remember where he had seen him before. "That's Andy Flower," said Robert, Harrison's business partner. "I invited him. He's a good friend of mine from college." "And who is the other man?" Victoria asked. Robert smiled. "That's Michael Jordan." Victoria's mouth opened in surprise. "The basketball player?" "The same one," Robert said. "Andy and Michael are close friends. I thought it would be interesting to have someone famous at our party." Harrison's face changed. He didn't look happy anymore. "A basketball player at our party? What's wrong with that?" Robert asked. "Nothing's wrong," Harrison said quickly. "I just think our guests might not understand what someone like that is doing here." Victoria moved closer to her husband. "Harrison's right. This is a party for business people, for important people. What does a sports person know about our world?" Other guests had noticed Michael Jordan too. Some looked excited. They whispered to each other and pointed toward him. A few people walked over to say hello, but the Whitmore family stood together, watching with disapproval. "Look at him," Harrison said quietly. "He thinks he can just walk into our world because he's famous. But being good at sports doesn't make you a real success." "I agree," Victoria said. "Anyone can bounce a ball. It takes real intelligence to build a business like Blue Tech." Sophia pulled out her phone. "This could be funny," she said. "I'll record everything. Wait until my friends see this." Michael Jordan walked through the party, shaking hands with guests. He smiled and talked politely with everyone. He seemed comfortable and confident, but not pushy or rude. Harrison watched every move. "He's trying to impress everyone," he told Victoria. "But we know better. We know the difference between real success and just being famous." As the evening continued, more guests arrived. The party grew louder and more crowded. Harrison felt more and more annoyed every time he saw Michael Jordan talking to his guests. "He doesn't belong here," Harrison whispered to Victoria. "Someone needs to put him in his place." Just then, Harrison's phone rang. He looked at the number but didn't recognize it. "Hello?" he answered. A man's voice spoke on the other end, but he talked too quietly for anyone else to hear. Harrison's face went pale as he listened. "What? No, that can't be right," Harrison said into the phone. "We have more time than that." He hung up quickly and looked around to make sure no one had heard him. "Who was that?" Victoria asked. "Nobody important," Harrison lied. "Just business." But his hands were shaking as he put his phone back in his pocket. Harrison looked across the party at Michael Jordan, who was laughing with a group of guests. Something about the basketball player's confidence bothered Harrison even more now. "Watch this," Harrison told Victoria. "I'll show everyone how to handle these sports people." He started walking toward Michael Jordan with a mean smile on his face. Victoria followed, excited to see what her husband would do. Neither of them noticed the three men in dark suits who had just walked through their front door. Harrison walked across the crowded party with Victoria right behind him. His expensive shoes clicked on the marble floor. Other guests moved out of his way as he headed straight toward Michael Jordan. Michael was talking with a small group of people near the big windows that looked out over the backyard. He listened carefully as an older woman told him about her grandson, who loved basketball. "That's very sweet," Michael said with a warm smile. "Tell your grandson to keep practicing. Hard work always pays off." The woman beamed with happiness. "Could I get your autograph for him?" "Of course," Michael said. He took a napkin and wrote a kind message for the boy. Other guests watched and smiled. They could see that Michael Jordan was not just famous, but also kind and humble. That's when Harrison stepped into the circle. Well, Harrison said loudly, "If it isn't our sports entertainer." The friendly conversation stopped. Everyone turned to look at Harrison. Some guests looked confused. Others looked uncomfortable. Michael turned toward Harrison with a polite smile. "Hello, I don't think we've met. I'm Michael Jordan." Harrison didn't shake Michael's hand. Instead, he crossed his arms and looked Michael up and down like he was judging him. "Oh, I know who you are," Harrison said. "Everyone knows the famous basketball player, but tell me, what brings you to a party for real business people?" Victoria moved up next to her husband. She had the same mean smile on her face. "Harrison's right," she said in a sweet voice that didn't match her cruel words. "This is usually a gathering for people who understand finance and business. You know, people who make important decisions." Michael kept his calm smile, but some guests could see his jaw tighten just a little. "I'm here with my friend Andy," Michael said simply. "He invited me." "Andy is a good man," Harrison said, "but I think he forgot to mention what kind of party this is. We don't usually have entertainers here." The word entertainers came out of Harrison's mouth like it tasted bad. More guests stopped their conversations to watch. The party grew quieter as people sensed something unpleasant was happening. Victoria laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Harrison, be nice. I'm sure Mr. Jordan knows how to dribble a ball very well." "Oh, I'm sure he does," Harrison said, his voice getting louder. "But tell me, Mr. Jordan, what do you know about running a real company? What do you understand about making payroll, dealing with suppliers, managing budgets?" Michael stood very still. His friend Andy started to move toward them, but Michael gave him a small look that said to wait. "I know some things about business," Michael said quietly. Harrison laughed out loud. "Some things? Did you hear that, Victoria? He knows some things about business." "How cute," Victoria said. "I bet you know how to sign endorsement deals and smile for cameras. But that's not real business, dear." Harrison was enjoying himself now. He felt important with everyone watching him. He thought he was showing his guests how smart and powerful he was. "Let me explain something to you," Harrison said, stepping closer to Michael. "Real business is about making tough decisions. It's about understanding markets and competition. It's about building something that lasts." He waved his hand around the fancy room. "This house, my company, everything you see, that's what real success looks like. Not bouncing a ball around for a few years until you get too old." Some guests looked down at their feet. They felt embarrassed for Harrison, but they didn't know what to say. Sophia moved closer with her phone in her hand. She held it low, but she was recording everything. She thought her father looked powerful and smart. "You athletes are all the same," Victoria added. "You make a lot of money for a while, but you don't plan for the future. You buy expensive cars and jewelry, but you don't understand real wealth." Michael's hands stayed at his sides, but his fingers made small fists. "My husband built Blue Tech Industries from almost nothing," Victoria continued. "He employs hundreds of people. He makes decisions that affect families and communities. That's real responsibility." Harrison nodded proudly. "Exactly. When you're responsible for a real company, you learn what true success means. You can't just rely on physical talent. You need intelligence, planning, and vision." The crowd around them had grown larger. Most guests looked uncomfortable, but they couldn't look away. "So tell me," Harrison said with his meanest smile yet, "when your basketball career ends, what will you do then? Will you learn to flip burgers? Maybe get a job selling cars?" Victoria laughed again. "Oh, Harrison, don't be mean. I'm sure someone will hire him to sign autographs at a store opening." Michael took a deep breath. For just a moment his calm mask slipped, and some guests could see hurt in his eyes. Andy stepped forward. "Maybe we should go, Michael," he said quietly. "Yes," Harrison said loudly. "Maybe you should. I think you'll be more comfortable at a different kind of party." somewhere with people more like you." The insult hung in the air like a bad smell. Michael looked around at all the faces watching him. Some guests looked sorry for him. Others looked embarrassed by Harrison's behavior. A few seemed to enjoy the cruel show. Then something interesting happened. Michael's phone buzzed with a text message. He looked down at it, and his expression changed completely. Instead of looking hurt or angry, he suddenly looked calm and confident again. He even smiled a little. "You know what?" Michael said, putting his phone back in his pocket. "You're absolutely right about one thing, Mr. Whitmore." Harrison looked surprised. "I am." "Yes. You said I need to understand real business." Michael looked directly into Harrison's eyes. "Well, I think I'm about to get a very good lesson." Andy looked confused. "Michael, what are you talking about?" Michael's smile grew bigger. "Actually, Andy, I think we should stay a little longer. This party just got much more interesting." Harrison felt confused too, but he tried to look confident. "Good. Maybe you'll learn something." "Oh, I think I will," Michael said. "In fact, I think everyone here is about to learn something very important." Just then, commotion started near the front door. Guests turned to see what was happening. The three men in dark suits were talking to Robert, Harrison's business partner. Robert's face looked pale and worried. Victoria noticed them too. "Harrison, who are those men? Why does Robert look so upset?" Harrison turned to look. When he saw the three men, his confident smile disappeared completely. I don't know," he said, but his voice shook a little. One of the men in suits looked around the party until his eyes found Michael Jordan. The man nodded once, and Michael nodded back. "Friends of yours?" Harrison asked, trying to sound casual. Michael's smile was mysterious now. "You could say that. They're here to help me understand business better." "What does that mean?" Victoria asked. "You'll see," Michael said calmly. "In fact, I think we're about to have a very educational evening." The party guests sensed that something big was about to happen, but nobody knew what it was, except Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan walked away from Harrison and Victoria with calm, steady steps. The crowd of guests slowly broke apart, but everyone kept whispering about what had just happened. "Did you see how rude Harrison was?" one woman said quietly to her husband. "I felt embarrassed just watching," another guest replied. "That poor man didn't deserve that treatment." Michael moved through the party like nothing had happened. He stopped to talk with different groups of people. He asked about their families and their work. He listened carefully to their answers and asked smart questions. "What kind of business are you in?" Michael asked a man named David, who owned a small restaurant. "I have 3 pizza places in the city," David said. "It's hard work, but I love feeding families." "That's wonderful," Michael said. "Good food brings people together." "How long have you been running restaurants?" David looked surprised that someone famous cared about his small business. 15 years now. Started with just one place. "Building something from the ground up takes real courage," Michael said. "You should be proud." As Michael talked with David, he learned something interesting. David mentioned that he bought his computer systems from Blue Tech Industries 2 years ago. "How has that been working out?" Michael asked casually. David's face changed. "Well, to be honest, we've had some problems. They promised to fix our software, but we haven't heard from them in months. We paid for support services that we never got." Michael nodded thoughtfully. "That must be frustrating for your business." "It is," David said. "We're thinking about switching to a different company. Several other restaurant owners have told me similar stories about Blue Tech." This wasn't the only bad news Michael heard about Harrison's company. He talked with a woman named Sarah who ran a doctor's office. She had bought medical computers from Blue Tech last year. "They seemed professional at first," Sarah said. "But when our computers broke down, no one would return our calls. We had to hire another company to fix everything." "Did Blue Tech give you your money back?" Michael asked. Sarah laughed, but not happily. We're still waiting. They keep saying they'll send a check, but it never comes. Michael listened to more stories like this as he moved around the party. BlueTech customers were unhappy. The company wasn't keeping its promises. People were starting to avoid doing business with them. Meanwhile, Harrison continued bragging to his guests about how successful BlueTech was. He didn't know that several of his own customers were at the party, and they were telling a very different story. "This has been our best year ever," Harrison told a group of men near the bar. "We're expanding into new markets, opening new offices. Business has never been better." But while Harrison bragged, Michael noticed other things. He saw Robert, Harrison's business partner, talking nervously on his phone in a corner. Robert kept looking around to make sure no one could hear him. Michael also noticed that some guests seemed worried when Harrison talked about BlueTech. They exchanged quick looks with each other, like they knew something Harrison didn't want people to know. Victoria was busy showing off their expensive things to other women at the party. "This necklace cost more than most people's cars," she said proudly. "And wait until you see the vacation we're planning to Europe. We're staying in the most expensive hotels in Paris and Rome." "How wonderful," said Mrs. Peterson, an older woman who owned several stores. "You're so lucky to afford such nice things." "It's not luck," Victoria said. "It's because my husband is brilliant at business. When you're as successful as Harrison, money isn't something you worry about." But Mrs. Peterson knew something Victoria didn't. Her stores had tried to work with BlueTech 6 months ago. The computers they bought never worked right, and BlueTech refused to fix them or give the money back. Mrs. Peterson didn't say anything to Victoria, but she made a mental note to warn other business owners about BlueTech Industries. Sophia was still recording videos with her phone, but now she was filming her parents showing off their wealth. She thought it was funny how impressed people looked when her mother talked about expensive things. "My followers are going to love this," Sophia said to herself. "Rich people parties are so entertaining." She didn't realize that posting videos of her family bragging about money while treating others badly would make people think poorly of the Whitmores. Michael stepped outside onto the big patio that overlooked the backyard. The evening air felt good after being inside with all the tension. He pulled out his phone and made several calls. He spoke quietly so no one could hear him. "Yes, I'm here now," he said into the phone. "Everything you told me about this company appears to be true." He listened for a moment, then continued. "How quickly can we move on this?" "Good. Yes, I want to proceed tonight." Andy found Michael outside after his third phone call. "What are you doing out here?" Andy asked. "And why do you look like you're planning something?" Michael put his arm around his friend's shoulder. "Andy, do you remember what you told me about Harrison when you invited me tonight?" "I said he was successful, but maybe a little too proud of himself," Andy replied. "You also said his company might be in financial trouble," Michael reminded him. Andy nodded. "I heard rumors from some business friends. Nothing definite, but people were talking." "Well, those rumors were right," Michael said. "I've been talking to his customers tonight. BlueTech Industries is in serious trouble." "How serious?" Andy asked. "Serious enough that some very important people are about to pay Harrison a visit," Michael said, looking back toward the house. Through the big windows, they could see the 3 men in suits talking with different guests. The men showed papers to some people and asked quiet questions. "Who are those guys?" Andy asked. "Business associates of mine," Michael said simply. "They're very good at their jobs." Andy looked confused. "Michael, what kind of business associates?" Before Michael could answer, Victoria appeared in the doorway that led to the patio. "Excuse me," she called out sweetly, but her voice had an edge to it. "Could you gentlemen come inside? Harrison would like to make an announcement." Michael and Andy walked back into the house. Most of the guests had gathered in the main living room. Harrison stood near the big fireplace, looking confident but a little nervous. "Ladies and gentlemen," Harrison began, "I want to thank you all for coming to our home tonight." People clapped politely. "As you know, the Whitmore family has always believed in celebrating success with friends," Harrison continued. "Tonight, we're surrounded by the most successful people in Chicago." Victoria beamed with pride as her husband spoke. "I also want to take this moment to announce that Blue Tech Industries will be expanding significantly next year," Harrison said. "We're planning new offices, new products, and new partnerships." Some guests looked surprised. A few exchanged worried glances. Michael stood near the back of the crowd, watching everything carefully. "So please enjoy the rest of the evening," Harrison finished. "Eat, drink, and celebrate with us." More polite clapping filled the room. But as Harrison stepped down, one of the men in suits approached him. The man whispered something in Harrison's ear. Harrison's confident smile disappeared instantly. His face turned pale. "What?" Harrison whispered back, loud enough for people nearby to hear. "What are they doing here?" Victoria noticed her husband's sudden change. "Harrison, what's wrong?" The man in the suit handed Harrison a folder of papers. Harrison opened it and quickly read the first page. His hands started shaking. "This can't be right," Harrison said, his voice getting louder. "We have more time. The bank said we had more time." Guests started looking concerned. The happy party atmosphere began to change. Victoria grabbed Harrison's arm. "What's happening? What are those papers?" Harrison looked around the room at all the faces watching him. He saw Michael Jordan standing calmly near the back, and something in Michael's expression made Harrison's stomach drop. "Those people you were so rude to earlier," the man in the suit said quietly. "They're here about your company." Harrison's eyes went wide. He looked at Michael, then at the papers, then back at Michael. "No," he whispered. "That's impossible." Michael stepped forward through the crowd. His whole presence seemed different now. He looked calm, confident, and powerful. "Is there a problem, Mr. Whitmore?" Michael asked in a clear voice that everyone could hear. Harrison stared at him, finally beginning to understand that this basketball player might be much more than he seemed. "What did you do?" Harrison asked quietly. Michael smiled. "I told you I was going to learn about business tonight. Class is about to begin." The room went very quiet. Everyone stared at Michael Jordan and Harrison Whitmore. The air felt thick with tension, like the moment before a thunderstorm. Harrison looked down at the papers in his hands again. His face grew even more pale as he read. The words on the page seemed to dance in front of his eyes. "This says Blue Tech Industries owes $2.3 million to Central Bank," Harrison whispered. "But we have a payment plan. We have more time." The man in the suit shook his head. "Your payment plan expired yesterday, Mr. Whitmore. The bank is calling in your debt immediately." Victoria grabbed her husband's arm tighter. "What does that mean?" she asked, her voice shaking. "It means," said another man in a suit who had walked over, "that someone else now owns your debt, and that someone wants to collect." All the guests watched this drama unfold. Some people started whispering to each other. Others pulled out their phones to record what was happening. Michael Jordan stepped closer to the group. "You see, Mr. Whitmore, while you were teaching me about basketball being just entertainment, I was learning something very interesting about your business." Harrison looked confused and scared. "What are you talking about?" "For the past 6 months, I've been working with financial advisors," Michael said calmly. "They help me invest my money in smart ways." Andy looked surprised. "Michael, I didn't know you were doing that." "Most people don't know," Michael replied. "They think I just play basketball and sign autographs. But I've been studying business for years." The story began to unfold like a movie. Michael had been secretly building a business empire while playing basketball. He owned parts of restaurants, real estate companies, and technology firms. My investment team told me about a computer company in Chicago that might be for sale soon. Michael continued. They said the owners were having money problems but trying to hide it from everyone. Victoria's eyes went wide. You mean our company, BlueTech Industries? Michael nodded. My people have been watching your company's finances for months. Harrison's hands shook as he held the papers. That's impossible. Our finances are private information. One of the men in suits stepped forward. Mr. Whitmore, I'm Davidson, a business lawyer. When companies owe money to banks, that information becomes available to potential buyers. Mr. Davidson opened his briefcase and pulled out more papers. Your company currently owes money to 6 different banks, 3 suppliers, and dozens of employees who haven't received their full pay. The party guests gasped. Some people started taking steps backward, like they didn't want to be near the Whitmore family anymore. That's not true, Harrison said loudly. Tell them, Victoria. Tell them we're successful. But Victoria couldn't speak. She was starting to understand that their whole life had been built on lies. Sophia lowered her phone. For the first time all evening, she wasn't recording. She was too shocked to move. Michael continued his explanation. You see, while you were laughing at me for not understanding real business, my team was discovering that you don't understand it either. What do you mean? Harrison asked weakly. Real business means paying your employees on time, Michael said. Real business means keeping promises to customers. Real business means not spending money you don't have on fancy parties and expensive cars. Mr. Davidson handed Harrison another paper. This is a list of all the customers who have complained about BlueTech in the past year. 47 companies say you took their money but didn't provide the services you promised. Harrison read the list. He recognized many of the names. Some of these customers were at the party tonight. David from the pizza restaurants is here, Michael said, pointing across the room. Sarah from the medical office is here too. They both told me about their problems with your company. Harrison looked around and saw David and Sarah watching him. They didn't look friendly anymore. You've been lying to everyone, Michael said, including your own family. Victoria started crying. Harrison, is this true? Have you been lying to us about money? Harrison couldn't answer. His whole world was falling apart in front of all these people. The truth is, Mr. Davidson explained, BlueTech Industries has been losing money for over a year. Mr. Whitmore has been borrowing money to pay for his family's expensive lifestyle while his company failed. Sophia finally found her voice. Dad, is our house really ours? Harrison looked at his daughter with sad eyes. The bank owns most of it, he admitted quietly. What about our cars, our vacations? Sophia asked. All bought with borrowed money, Harrison said, his voice barely above a whisper. Michael watched the family's world crumble, but he didn't look happy about it. He looked serious and determined. Here's what you need to understand about real business, Michael said to Harrison. It's not about showing off wealth. It's about creating value for people and treating workers fairly. He gestured to his business team. These men help me run companies that employ thousands of people. We pay good wages, provide health insurance, and treat everyone with respect. While you were making fun of athletes, Michael continued, I was building businesses that matter, restaurants that feed families, real estate companies that help people find homes, investment funds that create jobs. Mr. Davidson handed Michael a folder. Everything is ready, Mr. Jordan. Michael opened the folder and looked at the papers inside. Mr. Whitmore, your company is about to be sold to pay your debts. Sold? Harrison asked. To who? Michael smiled, but it wasn't a mean smile. It was the smile of someone who had been planning something for a long time. That depends, Michael said. Are you ready to learn what real business success looks like? The 3 men in suits moved closer. Other party guests pressed in to hear what would happen next. Harrison realized that the famous basketball player he had insulted was actually one of the smartest businessmen in the room. "You planned all of this," Harrison said, finally understanding. "Not exactly," Michael replied. "I planned to buy your company to help the employees you've been mistreating. The part where you insulted me just made it more personal." Victoria wiped tears from her eyes. "What's going to happen to us?" Before Michael could answer, his phone rang. He looked at the caller's name and his expression became very serious. "Excuse me," he said to the crowd. "I need to take this call. It's about someone who needs our help right now." Michael walked a few steps away and answered the phone. Everyone could see him talking, but they couldn't hear the words. When he came back, his face looked different. More determined, more urgent. "Change of plans," Michael announced. "We're not waiting until tomorrow to finalize this deal." Mr. Davidson looked surprised. "Sir, are you sure? We could wait until morning." "No," Michael said firmly. "There's a family that can't wait until morning. We're doing this tonight." Harrison looked confused. "What family? What are you talking about?" Michael looked directly at Harrison. "One of your employees has a daughter who's very sick. The family needs money for her medical treatment, but you cut their insurance benefits 3 months ago to save money for this party." The room went completely silent. "Tonight," Michael said, "we're going to fix that problem and many others." Victoria overheard part of a whispered conversation between two of the businessmen. She caught the words "finalizing the acquisition by midnight" and "employee benefits restored immediately." She didn't understand all of it, but she knew something very big was about to happen to her family. Something that would change everything forever. More cars arrived at the Whitmore estate. Through the big windows, guests could see important-looking people getting out of black vehicles. These weren't party guests. They were serious business people carrying briefcases and folders. Harrison watched the new arrivals with growing panic. He recognized some of the faces. There was Janet Miller from First National Bank. Behind her walked Thomas Chung from the law offices downtown. Even worse, he saw Margaret Foster, the woman who handled business loans at 3 different banks. "Why are all these people here?" Victoria whispered to her husband. Her voice shook with fear. "I don't know," Harrison lied. But he did know. These were the people he owed money to. The people he had been avoiding phone calls from for weeks. Sophia stopped taking videos completely. She put her phone in her purse and moved closer to her parents. For the first time all night, she looked scared instead of confident. Michael Jordan stood calmly in the center of the chaos. While everyone else looked worried or confused, he seemed perfectly comfortable, like he had been expecting all of this. "Mr. Whitmore," called Janet Miller as she walked into the house. "We need to discuss your company's debt situation immediately." Harrison's business partner, Robert, finally came over to join the group. His face was red and sweaty. He had been trying to hide in the corner all evening, but now he couldn't avoid what was happening. "Harrison," Robert said quietly, "we need to talk privately. Right now." "No," Michael said firmly. "I think this conversation should happen in front of everyone." Robert looked confused. "Who are you to tell us what to do?" Mr. Davidson, Michael's lawyer, stepped forward. "Mr. Flower, I believe you should know that Mr. Jordan now holds the primary debt on Blue Tech Industries." The words hit Robert like a punch. "What does that mean?" "It means," Michael explained, "that I bought your company's debt from the banks. All of it." Harrison felt like the room was spinning. "You can't do that. That's not how business works." "Actually, it's exactly how business works," said Margaret Foster from the bank. "When companies can't pay their debts, banks can sell those debts to other investors." Thomas Chang, the lawyer, opened his briefcase. "Mr. Whitmore, you received several notices about your missed payments. When you failed to respond, the banks had the legal right to sell your debt." Victoria grabbed Harrison's arm so tightly it hurt. "What does this mean for us?" For our family. Michael looked at Victoria with kind eyes, even though her family had been cruel to him. It means your husband's company now belongs to me. The party guests murmured among themselves. Some people pulled out their phones to call friends and share the shocking news. Others just stared in amazement. This is impossible, Harrison said, but his voice sounded weak. You're a basketball player. You don't know anything about buying companies. Let me show you what I know, Michael said calmly. Mr. Davidson handed Michael a thick folder. Michael opened it and began reading from official-looking papers. Harrison Whitmore III, you are hereby notified that Jordan Enterprises has purchased all outstanding debts, contracts and assets of BlueTech Industries as of 11:47. The room went completely silent. Even the waiters stopped moving. Jordan Enterprises? Victoria whispered. You have your own company? I have several companies, Michael said. Jordan Enterprises is my main business. We own restaurants, real estate, sports facilities and technology companies. Sophia found her voice. How is that possible? You're famous for basketball. Michael smiled at the confused teenager. I play basketball because I love it. But I also study business because I want to help people and create jobs. He gestured to his business team. These people have been helping me invest my money wisely for years. While other athletes spend everything they earn, I've been building something that will last. Janet Miller nodded. Mr. Jordan's financial advisors approached us 6 months ago about purchasing troubled company debts. BlueTech was on their list. 6 months ago? Harrison repeated. You've been planning this for 6 months. I've been watching your company for 6 months, Michael corrected. I wanted to understand why a computer company was failing when technology businesses should be growing. Thomas Chang pulled out more papers. Mr. Jordan's team discovered that BlueTech had been mismanaging money, not paying employees fairly, and failing to provide promised services to customers. Robert looked at Harrison with anger. Is this true? Have you been lying to me about our finances? Harrison couldn't meet his partner's eyes. I thought I could fix everything before anyone noticed. Fix what? Robert demanded. What exactly have you been hiding? Margaret Foster answered for Harrison. Your company owes $2.3 million in unpaid loans. You also owe $400,000 to suppliers who delivered computer parts you never paid for. The numbers hit Robert like a slap. Harrison, you told me we had small cash flow problems. You said everything would be fine in a few months. I thought it would be, Harrison said weakly. There's more, Michael said. He pulled out another paper. BlueTech also owes $80,000 in unpaid salaries to employees. Victoria gasped. We haven't been paying our workers? Your husband has been paying partial salaries for 3 months, Mr. Davidson explained. He told employees it was temporary, but he used the saved money to pay for your family's expensive lifestyle. The truth kept getting worse. Harrison had been stealing from his own employees to pay for fancy cars, expensive clothes, and parties like tonight's gathering. Some of the party guests started looking at the Whitmore family with disgust. They realized that all the wealth they had been admiring was built on lies and stolen money. We employ 200 people, Michael said to the crowd. 200 families depend on BlueTech for their income. Mr. Whitmore put all of those families at risk. I was going to pay everyone back, Harrison said desperately. With what money? Michael asked. Your company hasn't made a profit in 8 months. Janet Miller showed Harrison a financial report. These are your real company numbers, Mr. Whitmore, not the fake ones you've been showing your family. Harrison looked at the numbers and felt sick. He had been lying to himself as much as to everyone else. So what happens now? Sophia asked. She looked like she might cry. Michael looked around at all the faces watching him. Party guests, bank officials, lawyers and the broken Whitmore family all waited for his answer. Now we fix the problems your father created, Michael said. We pay the employees what they're owed. We honor the contracts with customers. We run the company the right way. Victoria wiped tears from her eyes. What about us? What happens to our family? Michael was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was gentle but firm. That depends on whether your family is willing to learn from this experience. Harrison looked up at Michael with desperate eyes. What do you mean? I mean, Michael said, that being wealthy isn't about having expensive things. It's about creating value for others and treating people with respect. Can you teach us? Sophia asked quietly. Can you show us how to be better? Michael smiled at the teenager. That's the first smart question anyone in your family has asked all night. Just then, a news reporter appeared at the front door. Someone at the party had called the local TV station about what was happening. Mr. Jordan, the reporter called out, is it true that you just bought a company from the man who insulted you tonight? All eyes turned to Michael. This was his chance to embarrass the Whitmore family in front of the whole city. Instead, Michael walked toward the reporter with a calm expression. Actually, he said, this story isn't about me at all. The news reporter pushed through the crowd of party guests with her camera operator right behind her. Everyone in the room turned to watch as she approached Michael Jordan. Mr. Jordan, she said, holding her microphone toward him, our viewers want to know how it feels to buy the company of the man who humiliated you tonight. Michael looked directly into the camera. His voice was calm and strong. This story isn't about revenge, he said clearly. This story is about 200 families who work for Blue Tech Industries. The reporter looked confused. She had expected Michael to talk about getting back at Harrison Whitmore. What do you mean? She asked. Michael gestured toward the party guests. While Mr. Whitmore was showing off his wealth tonight, his employees haven't been receiving their full paychecks for 3 months. Gasps came from people in the crowd. Some guests pulled out their phones to record Michael's words. You see, Michael continued, real business success isn't about buying expensive things to impress people. It's about taking care of the people who work hard for you. Harrison stood frozen, watching Michael speak to the camera. He realized that Michael could destroy his reputation on live television if he wanted to. Mr. Jordan, the reporter said, sources tell us that Mr. Whitmore insulted you earlier tonight. Don't you want to respond to that? Michael looked over at Harrison, who was sweating and shaking. Victoria and Sophia stood next to their husband and father, both crying quietly. Mr. Whitmore made some comments about athletes not understanding business. Michael said, I think tonight has been educational for all of us. The reporter pressed further. Are you saying you bought his company to teach him a lesson? I bought this company to save jobs, Michael said firmly. Tomorrow morning, every Blue Tech employee will receive the money they're owed. Every customer who didn't get the service they paid for will be taken care of. Mr. Davidson stepped forward with a folder of papers. Mr. Jordan, everything is ready for your signature. Michael took the papers and looked at them carefully. The entire room watched as he prepared to sign documents that would officially make him the owner of Blue Tech Industries. Before I sign these, Michael said loudly so everyone could hear, I want to say something to Mr. Whitmore. Harrison looked up with fearful eyes. You asked me what I know about running a real business, Michael said. Let me show you. He walked over to where Harrison stood with his family. Business lesson number 1, Michael said. Always pay your employees what you owe them. These people trust you with their families' futures. Harrison nodded weakly. Business lesson number 2. Keep your promises to customers. Your reputation is worth more than any amount of money. More nods from Harrison. Business lesson number 3. Don't spend money you don't have just to look successful. Real success comes from helping others succeed. Victoria wiped tears from her eyes as she listened. And lesson number 4, Michael said, his voice getting stronger. Treat everyone with respect, no matter who they are or what they do for work. You never know when that person might be able to help you or hurt you. The crowd in the room was completely silent. Everyone hung on Michael's every word. Now, Michael said, turning back to the reporter, let me tell you what's really going to happen with Blue Tech Industries. He signed the first paper with a confident signature. First, we're going to pay every employee their missing wages by Friday. That's $180,000 going directly to working families. People in the crowd started clapping. Michael signed the second paper. Second, we're going to contact every customer who had problems with Blue Tech and make things right. No one should pay for services they don't receive. More applause from the guests. Michael signed the third paper. Third, we're going to invest in new technology and training so Blue Tech can compete with larger companies. We're going to create more jobs, not fewer. The clapping got louder. Michael signed the final paper and handed the folder back to Mr. Davidson. And fourth, Michael said, looking directly at Harrison, we're going to offer Mr. Whitmore a job. Everyone gasped. Even the reporter looked shocked. A job? Victoria asked. What kind of job? He can work as a customer service representative, Michael said. He'll learn what it's like to help customers solve problems instead of creating them. Harrison's mouth opened, but no words came out. He'll start at $40,000 per year, Michael continued. That's the same salary his employees have been living on while he spent their money on fancy cars. Sophia stepped forward. Mr. Jordan, will you really give my father a chance to make this right? Michael looked at the teenage girl with kind eyes. Everyone deserves a chance to learn from their mistakes, but actions have consequence. He turned to address the entire room. Mr. and Mrs. Whitmore will need to sell this house to pay back the money they borrowed. They'll need to return the expensive cars and jewelry they bought with company funds. Victoria started crying harder. But, Michael said, his voice softening, if Mr. Whitmore works hard and proves he can be trusted, he might earn the chance to manage people again someday. The reporter was taking notes as fast as she could. This was a much bigger story than she had expected. Mr. Jordan, she said, this is an incredible act of kindness towards someone who treated you poorly. Why are you giving the Whitmore family this opportunity? Michael thought for a moment before answering. Because holding grudges doesn't help anyone, he said. But giving people a chance to grow and change can help everyone. Harrison finally found his voice. Mr. Jordan, I don't know what to say. Say you'll work hard, Michael replied. Say you'll treat your co-workers with respect. Say you'll put the customers first instead of your own ego. I will, Harrison said quietly. I promise I will. Michael turned to Victoria. Mrs. Whitmore, your family will need to make some big changes. Are you ready for that? Victoria nodded through her tears. We don't have a choice, do we? Everyone always has choices, Michael said. You can choose to be bitter about losing your fancy things, or you can choose to be grateful for a second chance. Sophia spoke up again. Mr. Jordan, can I ask you something? Of course. How did you learn to be so wise about business and people? Michael smiled. By making mistakes and learning from them, by listening to smart people who wanted to help me, and by remembering that success means nothing if you're not a good person. The news reporter raised her microphone one more time. Mr. Jordan, what do you want people to learn from what happened here tonight? Michael looked around at all the faces watching him. Some looked amazed. Others looked inspired. The Whitmore family looked humbled but hopeful. I want people to remember that how you treat others says everything about who you really are, Michael said. Money and fame don't make you successful. Character makes you successful. He paused, then added, and sometimes the person you're unkind to today might be the person who determines your future tomorrow. The reporter nodded. This has been an incredible story. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. As the camera stopped rolling, Michael walked back over to Harrison. "There's one more thing I need to tell you," he said quietly. "Something that changes everything about why this happened tonight." Harrison looked at him with curious eyes. "What is it?" Harrison asked. Michael glanced at his watch. It was almost midnight. "There's someone I need to call right now," Michael said. "Someone who couldn't wait until morning for this deal to go through." He pulled out his phone and dialed a number. "Maria," he said into the phone, "it's Michael Jordan." "Yes, we did it. Blue Tech is ours now. Your daughter's surgery can happen tomorrow." Harrison's eyes went wide as he listened to Michael's conversation. "Don't worry about the money," Michael said into the phone. "Everything is taken care of. Just focus on getting your little girl healthy." When Michael hung up, Harrison stared at him in shock. "Who was that?" Harrison whispered. Michael looked directly into Harrison's eyes. "That was Maria Santos. She works in your accounting department. Her 8-year-old daughter needs heart surgery, but you cut the family's health insurance 3 months ago." The blood drained from Harrison's face. "Tonight wasn't about your insults, Mr. Whitmore," Michael said. "Tonight was about saving a little girl's life." Harrison stared at Michael in complete shock. His face went white as the truth hit him like a punch to the stomach. "Maria Santos," Harrison whispered. "I remember her. She came to my office asking about insurance for her daughter's surgery." "And what did you tell her?" Michael asked quietly. Harrison's voice shook as he answered. "I told her the company couldn't afford to pay for expensive medical procedures. I said she would have to find another way." Victoria gasped. "Harrison, you never told me about this." "There's a lot I never told you," Harrison said, looking down at his feet. Michael's expression was serious but not angry. "Maria has worked for Blue Tech for 7 years. She's never missed a day of work. She's one of your best employees." The party guests listened in silence. Many of them had children and could imagine how scared Maria must have felt. Her daughter Emma was born with a heart problem. Michael continued. "The doctors said she needed surgery before her 9th birthday, or she might not survive." Sophia started crying. "Dad, how could you say no to helping a sick little girl?" Harrison couldn't look at his daughter. I thought if I could just keep the company running a little longer, I could fix everything. I thought I could find the money somewhere else." "While you were looking for money somewhere else," Michael said, "you spent $50,000 on new cars and $30,000 on this party." The numbers hit Harrison like slaps. He had spent enough money to save a child's life on things he didn't really need. Mr. Davidson stepped forward with another folder. "Mr. Jordan, would you like to explain how you learned about Emma's situation?" Michael nodded. 6 months ago, my financial team was researching Blue Tech Industries. They always investigate the companies I might invest in. He looked around at the crowd of people watching him. During their research, they talked to Blue Tech employees to understand how the company was really doing. That's when they met Maria. She didn't complain about her boss or ask for help. Michael continued. She just mentioned that her daughter was sick and she was worried about medical bills. Andy, Michael's friend, spoke up. "Michael, you never told me any of this." "I don't talk about my charity work," Michael said simply. "But when I heard about Emma, I knew I had to do something." Victoria wiped tears from her eyes. "So you bought our company to help one little girl?" "I bought your company to help 200 families," Michael corrected. "But Emma's situation made it urgent." He pulled out his phone and showed Harrison a picture. It was a little girl with dark hair and a big smile, sitting in a hospital bed. "This is Emma Santos," Michael said. "She's 8 years old. She loves to draw pictures and wants to be a teacher when she grows up." Harrison looked at the picture and felt sick. He had put this innocent child's life at risk because he wanted to keep living like a rich man. "The surgery cost $85,000, Michael said. "Maria has been working extra hours and saving every penny, but she only had..." "What about insurance?" Sophia asked. That's where your father comes in, Michael said, looking at Harrison. BlueTech's insurance used to cover major medical procedures for employees' families. But 3 months ago, Mr. Whitmore changed the policy. Mr. Davidson read from a document. Mr. Whitmore reduced medical coverage to save the company $15,000 per month. He used that money to make payments on the family's personal loans. Victoria put her hand over her mouth. Oh no. Harrison, what have we done? I thought it was temporary, Harrison said weakly. I thought I could change it back before anyone got hurt. But people did get hurt, Michael said. Emma wasn't the only one. Other employees have been struggling with medical bills, car repairs and house payments because you cut their benefits. The news reporter was taking notes as fast as she could. This story was getting bigger and more important by the minute. Mr. Jordan, she said, how did you coordinate buying the company so quickly? I've been working with banks and lawyers for weeks, Michael explained. When companies don't pay their debts, the banks want to get their money back as fast as possible. But why tonight? The reporter asked. Why did this have to happen at the party? Michael's expression became very serious. Because this afternoon Maria called me in tears. Emma's condition got worse. The doctors said they couldn't wait any longer. The room went completely silent. Emma needs surgery tomorrow morning, Michael said. If we had waited until next week to buy BlueTech, it might have been too late.
Harrison felt like he was going to be sick. You mean she could have died because of what I did?
The doctors were worried about that, yes, Michael said gently but honestly. Sophia ran to her father and hugged him while crying. Dad, we have to help her. We have to make this right. Harrison looked around at all the people watching him. For the first time in his life, he truly understood how his actions affected other people. Mr. Jordan, Harrison said, his voice breaking, can you forgive me? Can Emma's family ever forgive me? Michael was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was kind but firm. That's not up to me to decide, he said. You'll have to prove that you've learned from this experience. How? Harrison asked desperately. Tell me how to make this right. Start by understanding that every decision you make affects real people with real families. Michael said, Maria Santos trusted you to take care of her family's future. You broke that trust. Michael walked over to where Victoria and Sophia stood. Mrs. Whitmore, your family spent more money on jewelry and vacations in the last 3 months than Emma's surgery costs. How does that make you feel? Victoria could barely speak through her tears. It makes me feel ashamed. We were so worried about looking rich that we forgot about being good people. And you, Sophia, Michael said to the teenager, you were recording videos tonight to show off your family's wealth. What will you do differently now? Sophia wiped her eyes. I want to help. I want to visit Emma in the hospital and tell her I'm sorry for what my family did. Michael smiled at her. That's a good start. He turned back to Harrison. Mr. Whitmore, starting Monday you'll be working for Maria Santos. What do you mean? Harrison asked. She's being promoted to customer service manager, Michael said. You'll be her assistant. You'll help fix the problems you created with BlueTech's customers. Harrison nodded eagerly. I'll do whatever she asks. I'll work as hard as I can. Good, Michael said, because Maria knows more about taking care of people than you ever learned in all your years as a boss. Mr. Davidson handed Michael one more paper. Sir, the hospital is ready for your authorization. Michael signed the paper quickly. Emma's surgery is scheduled for 8 a.m. tomorrow. All medical costs are covered by Jordan Enterprises. The party guests started clapping. Some people had tears in their eyes as they realized they had witnessed something truly special. There's one more thing, Michael said to Harrison. Tomorrow, you and your family are going to visit Emma before her surgery. We are? Victoria asked. You're going to apologize to her and her mother for putting them through this nightmare, Michael said. And you're going to promise Emma that when she gets better, Bluetech Industries will pay for her art supplies so she can keep drawing. Sophia smiled through her tears. I'd like that. I want to see her drawings. The news reporter raised her microphone one final time. Mr. Jordan, this is an incredible story. What message do you want people to take away from tonight? Michael looked directly into the camera. I want people to remember that behind every business decision are real families with real dreams and real problems, he said. Success isn't about how much money you have. It's about how you use that money to help others. He paused, then added, and if you're in a position to help someone, especially a child, don't wait. Don't make excuses. Just help. Harrison stepped forward to stand next to Michael. I want to say something too, Harrison said to the camera. I was wrong about everything. Real success isn't about showing off or putting other people down. It's about lifting people up and taking care of those who depend on you. He looked at Michael with grateful eyes. Thank you for saving Emma. Thank you for saving my employees. And thank you for giving my family a chance to become better people. Michael nodded. Everyone deserves a second chance, Mr. Whitmore. Don't waste yours. As the camera stopped rolling, Michael's phone rang again. He looked at the caller ID and smiled. It's the hospital, he told everyone. Emma's surgery has been moved up. They can do it tonight. Harrison felt relief wash over him. She's going to be okay. She's going to be fine, Michael said, and tomorrow you're going to start learning what it really means to be successful. The party at the Whitmore estate was ending, but the real story was just beginning. Guests gathered their coats and purses, whispering to each other about everything they had witnessed. I can't believe what just happened, said Mrs. Peterson to her husband. That basketball player is the most impressive businessman I've ever met. And Harrison Whitmore is lucky Michael Jordan is so kind. Her husband replied. Most people wouldn't give him a second chance after what he did. As people left, many stopped to shake Michael's hand and thank him for showing them what real leadership looked like. Michael stood with his business team, making phone calls to the hospital and checking on final details for Emma's surgery. The surgical team is ready, Mr. Davidson reported. Dr. Martinez says the operation should take about 4 hours. Good, Michael said. And Maria? She's at the hospital with Emma now. The family is very grateful, but still scared about the surgery. Michael nodded. That's normal. But Emma has the best heart surgeon in Chicago. She's going to be fine. Meanwhile, the Whitmore family sat together in their fancy living room, but everything felt different now. The expensive furniture and artwork around them seemed to mock their situation. I can't believe we're going to lose our house, Victoria said quietly. We should have lost it months ago, Harrison replied. I've been lying to the bank about our payments just like I lied to you about everything else. Sophia put down her phone, which she had been using to delete all the videos she had taken earlier. Dad, how many other families did you hurt with your decisions? Harrison thought for a moment. I don't know, sweetheart, but I'm going to find out, and I'm going to try to make it right with all of them. Michael walked over to where the family was sitting. Mr. Whitmore, are you ready to hear about your new job? Yes, Harrison said eagerly. Tell me what I need to do. First, you'll work directly with Maria Santos when she returns from the hospital. Michael explained. She knows every customer who has had problems with Bluetech. Your job will be to call each one and apologize. Just apologize. Harrison asked. Apologize and fix their problems, Michael said. If Bluetech sold them computers that don't work, you'll arrange for repairs or replacements. If we took their money but didn't deliver services, you'll make sure they get what they paid for. Victoria looked confused. Won't that cost a lot of money? It will cost about $300,000 to fix all the problems, Mr. Davidson said. But Jordan Enterprises has set aside money for this. Why would you spend so much to help our customers? Sophia asked. Michael smiled at her question. Because those customers trusted Bluetech with their money. When someone trusts you, You have a responsibility to take care of them. He sat down across from the family. Let me tell you about some of the people you're going to help. Michael pulled out his phone and showed them photos. This is David Martinez. He owns 3 pizza restaurants. He paid BlueTech $25,000 for computer systems that were supposed to help him manage orders and inventory. Harrison looked at the picture. I remember him. He was here tonight. The systems never worked properly. Michael continued. His restaurants have been losing money because orders get mixed up and he can't track his food inventory. What happened when he asked for help? Victoria asked. Your customer service department told him the problems were his fault for not knowing how to use computers properly, Michael said. Harrison felt ashamed. That's not right. We should have fixed his systems or given him his money back. Exactly, Michael said. Tomorrow you're going to visit David's restaurants and see the problems for yourself. Then you're going to work with our technical team to fix everything. He showed them another photo. This is Sarah Kim. She runs a medical office with 4 doctors. I remember her too, Harrison said. BlueTech sold her office $40,000 worth of computers for patient records. When the computers crashed and lost important medical information, she called for help dozens of times. Did we help her? Sophia asked. The customer service team told her that computer crashes weren't covered by the warranty, Michael said. She had to hire another company to recover the lost patient files. Victoria shook her head. That's terrible. Medical records are so important. Sarah almost lost her business because of BlueTech's poor service, Michael said. Some of her patients switched to other doctors because they were worried about their medical information. Harrison looked sick. I had no idea our customer service was so bad. You had no idea because you never asked, Michael said firmly but not meanly. A good business owner talks to customers regularly to make sure they're happy. He showed them one more photo. This is James Rodriguez. He owns a small accounting firm. What happened to him? Sophia asked. BlueTech sold his company software that was supposed to help him prepare tax returns for his clients. The software had bugs that caused mathematical errors in the tax forms. Harrison's eyes went wide. Mathematical errors in tax returns. Some of his clients got in trouble with the IRS because of BlueTech's bad software, Michael said. James had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and lost several clients. Why didn't anyone tell me about these problems? Harrison asked. Mr. Davidson answered that question. Your customer service manager tried to tell you. She sent you reports about customer complaints every month. I get a lot of reports, Harrison said weakly. You threw them away without reading them. Mr. Davidson continued. Your assistant told our investigators that you said customer complaints were just people trying to get free services. The truth hit Harrison like a hammer. He had been so focused on making money and looking successful that he had ignored the people who made his success possible. How many customers are we talking about? Victoria asked. 47 companies have serious complaints against BlueTech, Michael said. Together, they represent about $800,000 in sales that went wrong. $800,000? Sophia repeated. That's just the customers who complained, Michael said. There are probably more who just switched to other companies without saying anything. Harrison put his head in his hands. I destroyed everything my father built. Not destroyed, Michael said kindly. Damaged. But damage can be repaired if you're willing to work hard and do the right thing. He stood up and looked at the whole family. Here's what's going to happen starting Monday. Harrison will work 50 hours per week, calling customers and visiting their businesses. He'll learn exactly how BlueTech's problems affected real people. Victoria, you'll work 20 hours per week in our accounting department. You'll see how much money it takes to run a business properly and pay employees fairly. Sophia, you'll volunteer 10 hours per week helping BlueTech employees' children with homework and art projects. You'll learn that success means helping others succeed. What about our house? Victoria asked. You can keep living there for 6 months while you look for a smaller place, Michael said. But the bank will sell it to pay your debts. Where will we live? Sophia asked. There are many nice apartments and small houses in Chicago, Michael said. You'll live like most working families live. Harrison looked up at Michael. Will we have enough money for food and basic things? Harrison's salary will be $40,000 per year. Victoria will earn $20,000 per year for part-time work. That's $60,000 total, which is more than many families live on. But we're used to spending much more than that, Victoria said. Then you'll learn to live differently, Michael said. You'll discover that happiness doesn't come from expensive things. Sophia spoke up. Mr. Jordan, can I ask you something personal? Sure. How much money do you make from basketball and business? Michael smiled. More than I could spend in several lifetimes, so why don't you just buy whatever you want? I do buy what I want, Michael said. I want to help children get medical care. I want to create jobs for working families. I want to support education and community programs. But what about yourself? She asked. I have a nice house and a good car. I eat good food and travel to interesting places. But I don't need 10 cars or 3 houses to be happy. He looked at all 3 family members. Real wealth isn't about having more than other people. It's about having enough for yourself and extra to help others. Harrison stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at their expensive cars in the driveway. I spent so much time trying to prove I was successful that I forgot to actually be successful, he said. It's not too late to change, Michael said, but you have to really want to change, not just pretend to change. Victoria wiped away a tear. We want to change. We want to be better people. Good, Michael said. Because tomorrow we're all going to visit Emma Santos in the hospital, and you're going to see what courage and strength really look like. Just then, Michael's phone rang. He answered it quickly. Hello? Yes, I understand. That's wonderful news. Thank you, doctor. He hung up and smiled at the Whitmore family. Emma's surgery went perfectly. She's going to be fine. Harrison felt a huge weight lift from his shoulders. Thank God. Her recovery will take a few weeks, but the doctors expect her to live a completely normal life, Michael said. Can we really visit her tomorrow? Sophia asked. Yes, Michael said. And I think meeting Emma will teach you more about success than any business book ever could. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the windows of Chicago Children's Hospital. In room 302, 8-year-old Emma Santos was awake and smiling despite the bandages on her chest. Mama, when can I go home and draw pictures? Emma asked her mother. Maria Santos smoothed her daughter's dark hair. Soon, Mija. The doctor says you're healing very well, and I can go back to school? In a few weeks you'll be running around with your friends like nothing ever happened, Maria said, trying not to cry with relief. There was a soft knock on the door. Maria looked up to see Michael Jordan standing in the doorway with the Whitmore family behind him. Hello, Maria, Michael said gently. How is our brave girl doing? Emma's eyes went wide. You're Michael Jordan. I saw you on TV. Michael walked over to her bed with a warm smile. Hi, Emma. I heard you had surgery last night. You're very brave. It didn't hurt too much, Emma said proudly. The doctors were really nice, and they gave me ice cream afterward. Harrison, Victoria, and Sophia stood near the door, feeling nervous and ashamed. They had never met someone whose life they had almost destroyed with their selfishness. Emma, Michael said, I brought some friends to meet you. Is that okay? Emma nodded eagerly. Michael gestured for the Whitmore family to come closer. Emma, this is Mr. Harrison, Mrs. Victoria, and their daughter Sophia. Hi, Emma said with a friendly wave. Harrison stepped forward, his hands shaking slightly. Hello, Emma. I work for your mama's company, Blue Tech? Emma asked. Mama talks about her work sometimes. She says she helps people with computers. That's right, Harrison said, his voice thick with emotion. Your mama is very good at her job. Victoria moved closer to the bed. Emma, we came to tell you something important. What? Emma asked curiously. Victoria looked at her husband, then back at the little girl. We came to say we're sorry. Emma looked confused. Sorry for what? Harrison knelt down next to Emma's bed so he could look into her eyes. Sweetheart, I made some very bad decisions at BlueTech. Because of those decisions, your family couldn't afford your surgery. Emma tilted her head. But I got my surgery. The doctors fixed my heart. Yes, you did, Harrison said. But that's because Mr. Jordan is a much better person than I am. He made sure you got the help you needed. Sophia stepped forward with tears in her eyes. Emma, my family spent money on stupid things like expensive cars and jewelry. We should have used that money to help families like yours. Emma looked at the crying teenager with concern. Are you sad? I'm sad that we hurt your family, Sophia said. But I'm happy that you're okay. Emma reached out and patted Sophia's hand. It's okay. Mama says everyone makes mistakes sometimes. Maria Santos watched this conversation with mixed emotions. She was grateful that Emma was safe, but she was still angry about what the Whitmore family had put them through. Mr. Whitmore, Maria said quietly, do you understand what the last 3 months were like for us? Harrison stood up and looked at Maria. No, I don't think I can fully understand. But I want you to tell me. Maria took a deep breath. Every night, I stayed awake worrying about Emma. Every day, I worked extra hours trying to save money for her surgery. I sold my grandmother's jewelry. I borrowed money from friends. Her voice got stronger as she continued. I begged the insurance company to reconsider their decision. I called BlueTech's HR department dozens of times asking for help. Nobody would listen to me. Victoria put her hand over her mouth. Oh, Maria, I'm so sorry. I watched my daughter get sicker every week, Maria continued. She couldn't run and play with other children. Some days she was too tired to eat. Emma looked up at her mother. Mama, don't be sad, I'm better now. I know, Mija, Maria said, kissing Emma's forehead. But these people need to understand what their choices did to our family. Harrison felt tears running down his face. Maria, I know sorry isn't enough, but I promise you, I will spend the rest of my career making sure no other family goes through what you went through. How? Maria asked. By working for you, Harrison said. Mr. Jordan told me you're going to be my supervisor. I want to learn from you how to really take care of people. Maria looked surprised. You want to work for me? I need to work for you, Harrison said. You understand what's important in a way I never did. Michael had been watching this conversation quietly. Now he spoke up. Emma, can you show everyone the drawings you made while you were waiting for surgery? Emma's face lit up. Yes. Mama, can you get my sketchbook? Maria reached into a bag next to the bed and pulled out a small notebook filled with colorful drawings. Emma flipped through the pages eagerly. This one is my family, she said, showing a picture of stick figures holding hands. This one is our apartment. And this one is BlueTech, where Mama worked. The drawing of BlueTech showed a building with happy faces in the windows and hearts floating above it. Why did you draw hearts on the building? Sophia asked. Because Mama says the people at BlueTech are like a big family, Emma explained. She says everyone takes care of each other. Harrison stared at the drawing. Emma, did your mama really say that about BlueTech? Yes, Emma said. Mama loves her job. She says helping businesses with their computers makes her feel important. Maria nodded. Even with all our problems, I still believe BlueTech can be a good company. The people I work with every day are good people. It's just the management wasn't paying attention to what employees needed. That's going to change, Michael said firmly. Starting Monday, BlueTech will have new management policies focused on taking care of employees and their families. Emma flipped to another page in her sketchbook. This is my favorite drawing. The picture showed a basketball player, clearly meant to be Michael Jordan, surrounded by children of different colors and sizes. Above them, Emma had written in careful letters, "Helping people makes you strong." Michael looked at the drawing with amazement. "Emma, when did you draw this?" "Last night, after my surgery," Emma said. "The nurse told me you helped pay for my operation. I wanted to draw you a thank you picture." "This is beautiful," Michael said. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. Why did you write helping people makes you strong?" Emma thought for a moment. "Because when you help someone, it makes them happy. And when you make someone happy, it makes you happy too. And being happy makes you strong." The room went completely quiet. Everyone stared at this 8-year-old girl who had just explained the secret of true success better than any business school could. Harrison knelt down next to Emma's bed again. "Emma, you're very wise. Can you teach me how to help people the right way?" Emma giggled. "It's easy. You just ask people what they need, and then you try to help them get it." "That's it?" Harrison asked. "That's it," Emma said confidently. "Oh, and you have to really mean it. You can't pretend to help people. They can tell if you're pretending." Victoria wiped tears from her eyes. "Emma, thank you for being so kind to us. We don't deserve your forgiveness." "Mama says forgiveness isn't about what people deserve," Emma said. "It's about what's right." She looked at Sophia. "Do you want to see my drawings of animals?" "I'd love to," Sophia said, sitting down next to the bed. As Emma showed Sophia her artwork, Harrison and Victoria talked quietly with Maria and Michael. "Maria," Harrison said, "when you come back to work, I want you to help me understand what changes BlueTech needs to make." "What kind of changes?" Maria asked. "Everything," Harrison said. "How we treat employees, how we serve customers, how we make decisions. I want to learn how to run a business that helps people instead of hurting them." Maria studied Harrison's face. "Are you sure? It will mean changing everything about how BlueTech operates." "I'm sure," Harrison said. "I want Emma to be proud of the company her mother works for." Michael put his hand on Harrison's shoulder. "That's the first truly wise thing you've said since I met you." Emma looked up from her drawings. "Mr. Harrison, are you going to be nicer to Mama at work now?" "I'm going to try my best to be the kind of boss your Mama deserves," Harrison said. "Good," Emma said with a big smile. "Because Mama is the best person in the whole world." Maria hugged her daughter gently. "I love you too, Maja." As the visit continued, Emma shared more of her drawings and talked about her dreams of becoming a teacher. She wanted to help children learn to read and draw pictures. "Maybe someday I can work for BlueTech too," Emma said. "I could teach people how to draw pictures on computers." "I think that's a wonderful idea," Michael said. "When you're old enough, we'll make sure there's a job waiting for you." Emma clapped her hands excitedly. "Really? Really?" Michael said. "But first you need to focus on getting healthy and doing well in school." "I will," Emma promised. As the visit was ending, Sophia pulled out her phone. But instead of taking a selfie or recording a video to post online, she took a picture of Emma's drawing that said, "Helping people makes you strong."
"Can I keep this as my phone's wallpaper?"
Sophia asked Emma. "It will remind me to be a better person." "Yes," Emma said happily. "And maybe it will remind other people too when they see your phone." Harrison shook hands with Maria. "I'll see you Monday morning. I'll be ready to learn. I'll be ready to teach," Maria said. "But it won't be easy. Changing a company culture takes time and hard work." "I'm not afraid of hard work anymore," Harrison said. "I'm only afraid of staying the same person I was yesterday." As they prepared to leave, Emma called out to Michael. "Mr. Jordan, can I tell you a secret?" Michael leaned down close to Emma's bed. "What's your secret?" Emma whispered, "I think you're going to make Mr. Harrison into a good person." Michael smiled. "What makes you think that?" "Because good people like you make other people want to be good too," Emma said wisely. Michael kissed Emma's forehead gently. "Get some rest, brave girl. The world needs more people like you." As they walked out of the hospital, the Whitmore family was quiet. Each of them was thinking about Emma's simple but powerful words about helping others. "She's incredible," Sophia said finally. "She's what we should have been thinking about all along," Victoria said. Harrison stopped walking and turned to face his family and Michael. "I want to make a promise to all of you," he said. "From now on, every decision I make will start with one question. How will this help people like Emma and Maria?" Michael nodded approvingly. "That's the right question, Mr. Whitmore. Now you just need to stick with it, even when it's difficult." "I will," Harrison said. "Because if an 8-year-old girl can be that brave and wise, then I can learn to be a better man." 6 hours later, the Whitmore family stood in their mansion's driveway as a news van pulled up. The reporter from the night before stepped out with her camera crew, ready to follow up on the incredible story. "Mr. Jordan," she called out, "we heard about your visit to the hospital this morning. How did it go?" Michael walked over to meet the reporter, with the Whitmore family following behind him. Their faces looked different now, softer, more humble, but also more determined. "The visit went very well," Michael said. "Emma Santos is recovering beautifully from her surgery." "And how do you feel about owning Blue Tech Industries now?" the reporter asked. Michael smiled. "I don't just own a company. I'm responsible for 200 families who depend on Blue Tech for their livelihood. That's a responsibility I take very seriously." Harrison stepped forward. "Can I say something to your viewers?" The reporter looked surprised but held out a microphone. "Of course, Mr. Whitmore." Harrison looked directly into the camera. His voice was steady but filled with emotion. "Yesterday, I thought success meant having expensive things and showing off my wealth. I was completely wrong." He paused, gathering his thoughts. "Real success is what Michael Jordan showed me. It's using your power and resources to help others, especially when they need it most." Victoria moved next to her husband. "We learned that a little girl's life is worth more than all our fancy cars and jewelry combined." "My name is Sophia Whitmore," their daughter said, stepping up to the microphone. "I spent years posting videos online about expensive things and making fun of people who had less than us. I want to apologize to everyone who saw those videos." The reporter was taking notes as fast as she could. "What will you do differently now?" Harrison answered first. "Starting Monday, I'll be working as a customer service representative at Blue Tech. My new boss will be Maria Santos, the mother of the girl whose surgery we almost prevented with our selfishness." "Working for someone who used to work for you?" the reporter asked. "Maria knows how to take care of people," Harrison said. "I need to learn that skill from her." Michael stepped forward again. "This story isn't about punishment or revenge. It's about learning and growing." He gestured toward the Whitmore family. "These people made serious mistakes, but they're committed to making things right. That takes courage." "Mr. Jordan," the reporter said, "many people are calling you a hero for saving Emma's life and helping Blue Tech's employees. How does that make you feel?" Michael shook his head. "I'm not a hero. I just did what anyone with resources should do when they see people in need." He looked thoughtful for a moment. "You know what makes someone a hero? It's not having money or fame. It's choosing to help others even when it's difficult or inconvenient." "Can you give us an example?" the reporter asked. "Maria Santos is a hero," Michael said immediately. "She worked extra hours for months to try to save money for her daughter's surgery. She never complained or asked for special treatment. She just kept fighting for her family." The nurses at the hospital are heroes, Victoria added. They take care of sick children every day with kindness and skill. Sophia spoke up too. Emma is a hero. She stayed brave and positive even when she was scared about her surgery. The reporter smiled. It sounds like you've all learned important lessons. We have, Harrison said. But the most important lesson came from Emma herself. What did she teach you? The reporter asked. Harrison pulled out his phone and showed the reporter a photo of Emma's drawing that said, "Helping people makes you strong. An 8-year-old girl taught me the secret of real success." Harrison said, "When you help others, it makes them happy. When you make others happy, it makes you happy too. And being truly happy makes you strong." That's beautiful, the reporter said. What specific changes will BlueTech make under new management? Michael answered this question. First, we're implementing a profit-sharing program. When the company does well, every employee will receive bonus payments. Second, he continued, we're creating the Emma Santos Education Fund. BlueTech will pay for college scholarships for employees' children who want to study business, technology, or healthcare. Harrison's eyes lit up. Really? We're doing that? We're doing that, Michael confirmed. Emma wants to be a teacher someday. This fund will help other children like her achieve their dreams. Third, Michael said, BlueTech will offer the best health insurance in the industry. No family should ever have to choose between paying for medical care and paying for rent. Victoria wiped away a tear. That's wonderful. And fourth, Michael said with a smile, BlueTech will have a new customer service philosophy. Every customer is someone's family member. We'll treat every person who calls for help the way we'd want our own families to be treated. The reporter was impressed. These sound like significant changes. They are, Michael said, but they're not just good business practices, they're the right thing to do. Harrison looked at Michael with deep gratitude. Mr. Jordan, can I ask you something? Sure. Why are you being so generous to us? After the way we treated you, you could have just taken our company and left us with nothing. Michael thought for a moment before answering, because I believe people can change if they really want to, and because holding grudges hurts the person holding them more than anyone else. He looked at the camera. I want your viewers to understand something important. This story started with a wealthy family making fun of someone they thought was beneath them. But it ends with all of us working together to help families and communities. What's the message you want people to take from this? The reporter asked. The message is simple, Michael said. Success isn't about having more than other people. Success is about using whatever you have, money, skills, time, or influence, to make life better for others. Sophia raised her hand like she was in school. Can I add something? Of course, the reporter said. Don't judge people by their jobs or how much money they have, Sophia said. The most successful person we know is a basketball player who uses his fame and wealth to help children get medical care and families keep their jobs. And don't assume you know everything about business just because you have money, Victoria added. We thought we were successful, but we were just spending borrowed money and hurting good people. Harrison nodded. If you're in charge of other people's jobs or well-being, remember that your decisions affect real families with real dreams and real problems. The reporter turned back to Michael. Any final thoughts, Mr. Jordan? Michael looked at the Whitmore family, then back at the camera. I want to thank the Whitmore family for being brave enough to admit their mistakes and commit to changing. It's not easy to say you were wrong, especially in front of cameras. He paused, then continued. And I want to remind everyone watching that each of us has the power to help others, even in small ways. You don't need to buy a company or pay for surgeries. You can help by being kind to people who serve you, by treating your employees fairly, or by teaching your children that character matters more than wealth. What about Emma Santos? The reporter asked. How is she doing now? Michael's face brightened. Emma is amazing. She's already talking about going back to school and showing her friends the new drawings she made in the hospital. She also said she wants to work for BlueTech when she grows up. Sophia added with a smile. She wants to teach people how to make art on computers. We'll save her a job, Harrison said. And by the time she's ready to work, BlueTech will be the kind of company that truly deserves someone as special as Emma. The reporter wrapped up her questions, and the camera crew packed their equipment. As the news van drove away, Michael and the Whitmore family stood together in the driveway. What happens now? Victoria asked. Now we get to work, Michael said. Real work. Meaningful work. Harrison looked at his mansion one last time. I'm actually excited about Monday. For the first time in years, I'll be doing a job that matters. And I'm excited to learn about accounting from people who actually understand money, Victoria said. Sophia was quiet for a moment, then spoke up. Mr. Jordan, do you think Emma would like to be friends with me? I mean, after everything? I think Emma would love to be your friend, Michael said. She doesn't hold grudges. She just believes in helping people become their best selves. Like you do, Harrison said to Michael. Michael shook his head. Like we all should do. As the sun began to set, Michael prepared to leave. He had one more surprise for the Whitmore family. Before I go, he said, I have something to tell you that I think will change how you see everything that happened. The family looked at him curiously. What is it? Harrison asked. Michael smiled mysteriously. Remember when I got that phone call during your party? The one that made me decide to finalize the company purchase that same night instead of waiting. Yes, Victoria said. You said it was urgent. It was urgent, Michael said, but not for the reason you think. He pulled out his phone and showed them a text message from earlier that evening. This message came from Maria Santos at 9:30 p.m., right before I confronted you about your business practices. The family read the message together. Mr. Jordan, the doctors say Emma's condition is getting worse faster than expected. They want to do surgery tonight instead of tomorrow morning. Please help us. Harrison's face went pale. I mean that your insults to me at the party had nothing to do with my decision, Michael said calmly. I was already planning to buy BlueTech to help your employees. But when I got that text message about Emma, I knew we couldn't wait another day. Victoria gasped. So this was never about revenge? Never, Michael said. This was always about saving a little girl's life and protecting the families who work for your company. Harrison stared at Michael in amazement. You let us think you bought our company because we were rude to you. I let you learn the lessons you needed to learn, Michael said. Sometimes people need to understand the consequences of their actions before they can truly change. Sophia looked confused. But why didn't you tell us the truth from the beginning? Michael smiled at her. Because if I had told you from the start that this was about helping a sick child, you might have pretended to care just to look good. This way you had to face the real impact of your choices. And now? Harrison asked. Now you know the truth, Michael said. Emma Santos's life was in danger because of decisions you made. But you also know that people can forgive, change and work together to build something better. The family stood in silence, processing this final revelation. Mr. Jordan, Harrison said finally, thank you for saving Emma. Thank you for saving our employees. And thank you for giving us the chance to become the people we should have been all along. Michael shook hands with each member of the Whitmore family. Don't thank me, he said. Thank Emma when you see her next week. She's the one who taught all of us what real success looks like. As Michael walked toward his car, Sophia called out to him. Mr. Jordan, will you come visit us at BlueTech sometimes to see how we're doing? I'll visit every month, Michael promised. And I'll bring Emma when she's feeling better. I think she'll enjoy seeing the changes you make. We won't let you down, Harrison said. Don't worry about letting me down, Michael replied. Worry about living up to Emma's example of courage, kindness, and wisdom. As Michael drove away, the Whitmore family stood together looking at their house, their expensive cars, and their old life. "Are you scared?" Victoria asked her husband. "Yes," Harrison said honestly, "but I'm also excited. For the first time in my life, I'm going to do work that actually helps people." "Me too," Victoria said. "Me three," Sophia added. They walked back into their house, but everything looked different now. The expensive furniture and artwork seemed less important. What mattered was the chance to start over and build something meaningful. "Tomorrow we start learning how to be successful the right way," Harrison said. "Emma's way," Sophia said, looking at the drawing on her phone. "Helping people makes you strong," Victoria repeated softly. And for the first time in years, the Whitmore family felt truly wealthy, not in money, but in purpose, hope, and the chance to make a real difference in the world. The morning sun shone through the windows of BlueTech Industries' main office. The building looked the same from the outside, but everything inside had changed completely. In the customer service department, Harrison Whitmore sat at a simple desk with a headset on his ears. He was talking to Mrs. Flower, who owned a bakery in Chinatown. "I understand your frustration, Mrs. Flower," Harrison said patiently. "Your cash register system has been freezing up during busy times. That must be very stressful when you have customers waiting." "It is very stressful," Mrs. Flower replied. "I've called 3 times before and nobody helped me." "I'm so sorry about that," Harrison said sincerely. "That should never happen to any of our customers. I'm going to personally make sure this gets fixed today." Harrison typed notes into his computer as he spoke. "I'm sending our best technician to your bakery this afternoon. His name is David Martinez, and he owns restaurants too, so he understands how important it is to keep your equipment working." "Really? Today?" Mrs. Flower sounded surprised. "Yes, ma'am. And Mrs. Flower, if for any reason we can't fix your system today, BlueTech will provide you with a replacement register at no cost while we work on the problem." After he hung up, Harrison made a note to follow up with Mrs. Flower in 2 days to make sure everything was working properly. "Nice job, Harrison," said Maria Santos, who was sitting at the desk next to his. "You're getting much better at really listening to customers." Harrison smiled at his supervisor. "Thanks, Maria." Mrs. Flower reminded me of my grandmother, who also owned a small business. "I never want a customer to feel ignored again." Maria had been promoted to customer service manager 6 months ago, and she was excellent at her job. She treated every customer like family and taught her team to do the same. "How's Emma doing?" Harrison asked. "She's wonderful," Maria said, her face lighting up. "She went back to school last month, and her teacher says she's the most helpful student in the class. She's always offering to help other children with their art projects." "That sounds just like her," Harrison said. Across the office, Victoria Whitmore was working in the accounting department. She sat next to Janet Wilson, an experienced bookkeeper who had been teaching Victoria how to manage business finances properly. "Victoria, can you explain to me what this number means?" Janet asked, pointing to a line in their monthly report. Victoria studied the computer screen carefully. "That's $45,000 in overtime pay for our technical support team. They worked extra hours last month, helping customers who had problems with their systems. And is that good or bad for the company?" Janet asked. "It's good," Victoria said confidently. "Happy customers stay with us longer and tell their friends about BlueTech. The overtime pay we spend now will come back to us in more sales later." Janet smiled. "Exactly right. You're learning to think like a real business person." Victoria felt proud of herself. 6 months ago, she had thought business was just about making as much money as possible. Now she understood that treating employees and customers well was the best way to build a successful company. "Janet, can I ask you something?" Victoria said. "Of course. Do you think the employees here are happier now than they were before?" Janet looked around the office. People were talking and laughing as they worked. The stress and fear that used to fill the building were gone. Much happier, Janet said. When Mr. Jordan took over, it was like someone turned the lights on. People aren't worried about losing their jobs anymore. That makes me happy too, Victoria said. I never realized how much our old management style was hurting people. Down the hall, Sophia Whitmore was in the break room with 5 children whose parents worked at BlueTech. She was helping them with their homework and art projects as part of her volunteer work. Miss Sophia, can you help me with this math problem? Asked 7-year-old Tommy, whose mother worked in the shipping department. Of course, Tommy, Sophia said, sitting down next to him. Let's look at it together. The math problem was about adding and subtracting money. Sophia helped Tommy understand it by using real coins and dollars. So if you have $8 and you buy a toy that costs $3, how much money do you have left? Sophia asked. Tommy counted carefully. That's right, Sophia said. You're getting really good at this. 9-year-old Emma Santos was sitting at another table working on a drawing. She had recovered completely from her heart surgery and was healthier than she had ever been. Emma, what are you drawing today? Sophia asked. Emma held up her paper proudly. It showed the BlueTech building with people of all ages working together happily. It's our company, Emma said. Mama told me BlueTech is like a big family now, where everyone takes care of each other. That's beautiful, Sophia said. Can you tell me about the people in your drawing? Emma pointed to different figures in her picture. That's Mama at her desk, helping customers. That's Mr. Harrison learning how to be nice to people. That's your Mama helping with the money. And that's you, helping kids like me. You put me in your drawing? Sophia asked, feeling touched. Yes, because you're part of our BlueTech family now, Emma said with a big smile. Sophia had to wipe away a tear. 6 months ago, she had been a spoiled teenager who made fun of people online. Now she was part of something meaningful. Emma, do you remember what you taught us about helping people? Sophia asked. Helping people makes you strong, Emma said happily. And it makes them strong too. That's right, Sophia said. You're the wisest person I know. Later that afternoon, Michael Jordan arrived for his monthly visit to BlueTech. He always came on the last Friday of each month to see how everyone was doing. Harrison, Victoria and Sophia gathered in the conference room with Maria and several other employees to give Michael an update. How are things going? Michael asked. Maria spoke first. Customer satisfaction is at an all-time high. We've resolved all the old complaints and new customers are telling their friends about our excellent service. That's wonderful, Michael said. Harrison, how do you feel about your new role? Harrison's face was completely different from 6 months ago. He looked relaxed and genuinely happy. I love coming to work every day, Harrison said. I've learned more about business in 6 months working for Maria than I learned in 20 years as a boss. What's the biggest thing you've learned? Michael asked. That employees aren't just workers, Harrison said. They're people with families, dreams, and problems. When you take care of them, they take care of the company. Victoria nodded. And I've learned that success isn't about having the most expensive things. It's about building something that lasts and helps people. What about you, Sophia? Michael asked. I've learned that helping others feels better than showing off, Sophia said. My new friends here at BlueTech are more fun to be with than the rich kids I used to hang out with. Michael smiled. Those are all important lessons. How is the Emma Santos Education Fund doing? Maria's eyes lit up. We've raised enough money to send 12 employees' children to college next year. Emma is so excited that other kids will get to follow their dreams. Speaking of Emma, Michael said, where is she today? She's in the art room, Sophia said. She comes here after school sometimes to work on projects and help other children. They all walked down the hall to a room that had been converted into an art studio for the children of BlueTech employees. Emma was there with several other kids, teaching them how to draw. "Mr. Jordan," Emma called out when she saw him. She ran over and gave him a big hug. "Hi, Emma," Michael said. "How are you feeling?" "I feel great," Emma said. "The doctor says my heart is completely healthy now, and look what I made." Emma showed Michael a large poster she had been working on. It said Blue Tech Family at the top, and below that were drawings of dozens of people working together. "I drew everyone who works here," Emma explained. "Mama says we're all connected, like a real family." "This is incredible, Emma," Michael said. "You're such a talented artist." "Thank you," Emma said. "When I grow up, I want to teach art and work for Blue Tech at the same time." "I think that's a perfect plan," Michael said. As the visit continued, Michael talked with employees throughout the building. Everyone had stories about how much better things were under the new management. David Martinez, who had fixed Mrs. Flower's cash register that morning, stopped by to chat. "Mr. Jordan, I want you to know that Blue Tech is the best client we've ever worked with," David said. "When Harrison calls us about a customer problem, we know it's urgent and important." "That's good to hear," Michael said. "The old Blue Tech would have ignored customer problems for weeks," David continued. "Now they treat every customer like their own family member." Dr. Sarah Kim also visited the office that day. Her medical practice had been one of Blue Tech's most dissatisfied customers before the changes. "Sarah, how are things going with your new computer systems?" Michael asked. "Perfectly," Dr. Kim said. "When we had a small problem last month, Harrison came our office personally to make sure it was fixed. He stayed until 8 p.m. to make sure everything was working." Harrison looked embarrassed. "It was the least I could do after the way we treated you before. The point is, you've completely changed how you do business," Dr. Kim said. "My colleagues are all asking me about Blue Tech now because they've heard such good things." As the day ended, Michael gathered the Whitmore family together for a private conversation. "I'm very proud of all of you," he said. "You've shown that people really can change when they want to." "We had a good teacher," Harrison said. "Emma showed us what real success looks like. And you showed us that forgiveness and second chances can change everything," Victoria added. "What's next for your family?" Michael asked. "We're happy where we are," Sophia said. "We found a nice apartment near Emma's school so I can walk her home sometimes and help with her homework. And we're saving money to buy a small house," Victoria said. "Not because we want to show off, but because we want to have a place where Emma and the other Blue Tech kids can come for art projects and study groups." Harrison nodded. "We want to use our home to help families, not to impress people." Michael was quiet for a moment, then smiled. "I have one more surprise for you." "What is it?" Sophia asked. "Blue Tech has been so successful this year that the board of directors wants to offer Harrison a promotion." Harrison looked surprised. "What kind of promotion?" "Assistant Customer Service Manager," Michael said. "You would work with Maria to train new employees and help develop better ways to serve customers." "Really?" Harrison asked. "But I've only been learning for 6 months." "Sometimes the best teachers are people who remember what it's like to make mistakes," Michael said. "Maria thinks you'd be excellent at helping new employees understand how to put customers first." Harrison looked at Maria, who was smiling and nodding. "I'd love that," Harrison said. "But only if Maria thinks I'm ready." "You're ready," Maria said. "You've learned to listen with your heart, not just your head. That's the most important skill in customer service." As everyone prepared to leave for the weekend, Emma ran up to the group. "Mr. Jordan, can I show you one more drawing?" she asked. "Of course," Michael said. Emma pulled out a small piece of paper with a picture of a basketball player surrounded by many happy people. "This is you," Emma said, pointing to the basketball player. "And these are all the people you helped by saving Blue Tech." "It's beautiful, Emma." "Beautiful, Emma," Michael said. "I want you to keep it," Emma said. "To remember that helping people is the best thing anyone can do." Michael carefully folded the drawing and put it in his wallet. "I'll treasure this forever." As everyone left the building, Harrison, Victoria, and Sophia walked together toward their car. "Are you happy?" Victoria asked her husband. Harrison thought about the question. 6 months ago, he had been miserable even though he thought he was successful. Now he made much less money, lived in a smaller place, and worked for someone who used to work for him. "I'm happier than I've ever been," he said honestly. "Every day, I get to help people solve problems. Every day, I learn something new about treating people with respect. Every day, I see Emma and remember what's really important in life." "Me too," Victoria said. "I love understanding how money really works and seeing how our decisions help families. And I love helping kids with their homework and art projects," Sophia said. "It's so much better than making videos about expensive things that don't matter." As they drove home to their small apartment, they passed the mansion where they used to live. A new family had bought it, a young couple with 2 children who seemed genuinely happy. "Do you miss the big house?" Sophia asked. "Not even a little bit," Harrison said. "That house was just for showing off. Our apartment is for living and helping others. Plus, Emma visits us there," Victoria said. "She says our home feels warm and friendly, not cold and fancy." When they arrived at their apartment building, they saw Emma and Maria coming back from the grocery store. "Hi, Whitmore family," Emma called out cheerfully. "Hi, Emma," they all called back. "Are you coming to my art show next week?" Emma asked. "I'm displaying some of my drawings at the community center. We wouldn't miss it," Sophia said. "I'm bringing my camera to take pictures of all your artwork, but not for social media," Emma said with a giggle. "Just for memories." "Just for memories," Sophia agreed, laughing. As they all walked into the building together, Harrison realized something important. 6 months ago, the Whitmore family had lived alone in a huge house, surrounded by expensive things, but isolated from real relationships. Now they lived in a small apartment, but they were surrounded by friends, meaningful work, and the chance to help others every day. "You know what?" Harrison said as they reached their floor. "What?" Victoria asked. "I think we finally learned what Michael Jordan was trying to teach us." "What's that?" Sophia asked. Harrison smiled as he watched Emma and Maria disappear into their apartment across the hall. "Success isn't about what you have," he said. "It's about what you give. And when you give people your kindness, respect, and help, you get back something much more valuable than money." "What do you get back?" Victoria asked. "You get back a life worth living," Harrison said. And as the Whitmore family settled into their small apartment for a quiet evening together, they knew that they had finally discovered the secret that Michael Jordan had been trying to share with them all along. True success wasn't about being wealthy. True success was about making others wealthy, in happiness, opportunity, and hope. And that was a kind of success that would last forever. What an incredible journey we just witnessed. From a night of cruelty and arrogance to a story of redemption, forgiveness, and the power of helping others. Emma's simple wisdom, "Helping people makes you strong," reminds us that true success isn't about what we have, but what we give. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and let us know in the comments where you're listening from around the world. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to help us spread more stories of kindness and second chances. There's another amazing story of transformation waiting for you. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now to continue this journey of discovering what real success truly means. Thank you for watching, and remember, everyone deserves a chance to become their best self.